So much for that thought. 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 Let's go, baby. It's 9 o'clock. It's 9 o'clock. Y'all already know it's 9 o'clock. Let's make this thing happen. Let's go, biz. Yes, indeed. Man, what y'all doing? Y'all all right? Y'all all right? Y'all good? Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's get it in. Let's go, let's go, let's get it in. Get your water, get your milk, get your juice, get your Kool-Aid, get your coffee, get your soda, whatever you drink, and let's go, baby, let's get it in. Y'all know we do, we spiritually exercise every day we drop the net. We're gonna run it this morning. Got a phone call yesterday, right? We're gonna get into some real revelation this morning. Like we always do, every day this time. Anyway, good morning. Let's make it happen, babe. Let's go. We're gonna run it this morning. We're gonna run it. Yesterday I went into what the 22nd chapter of Revelation. We dealt with verses 3, 4, and 5. We really didn't get into the in-depth of it because we went jumped on something else. Man, today Tuesday, normally on the Tuesday, for the past 6 months, we've been dealing with a different church. And today we're supposed to deal with the Church of Philadelphia because we're in the month of October and this is the Church of Philadelphia month. So I guess we'll come back tomorrow and we'll deal with the Church of Philadelphia because today I want to drop some stuff on you today and we're just going to run it. We're just going to run the Bible. We're going to run the Bible. Y'all ready? When you're ready, say you're ready. And guess what? We're going to get real. We always get deep. We're going to get deeper this morning. Yep. Call the fire department because we about to start a fire. Call the fire department. I'm gonna drop something on you today that's gonna boom, blow your mind. But watch, let me tell you something. Watch this. This is what has happened. This is what's happening. This is what has happened. A lot of you all been following the teaching since March. Then some come in, then some come in. And lately a lot of you all been sharing and other people been listening, but they haven't been following since back then. So a lot they're coming in the middle. You know, they are coming in the middle of what has been already shared because this it's new, so I'm gonna have to teach it over and over and over and over. But we've been going so far now I gotta go back. But I got a call yesterday from an elder, right? So the elder was running it. They was running it. And we got to step our game up. As believers, we really have to step our game up. As a church, we really have to step our game up. And this is the time to do it. Elder they were just running it, right? And they share some things. And so God said, okay, I got to go back. I'm going to go back in the 13th chapter of Revelation, right? Even though we're in the 22nd chapter, because in the 22nd chapter, I wanted to walk verses 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, verse by verse down to you, right? And still tying in with the very first 3 verses in the book of Genesis, when God created the heavens and the earth. When he said, let there be light, people was like, whoa, okay, so then, tell you what, I'm going to just run it, right? Watch this. We in the 22nd chapter of Revelation. We're going to come out of the 22nd chapter of Revelation. We're going to go in the 13th chapter. When I go in that 13th chapter, I'm going to walk verses 1 all the way to 11 because I'm going to show you the first beast and the second beast. Now, once we get in Revelation, the 13th chapter, I'm going to run to Daniel, the 7th chapter. I'm going to come out of Daniel, we're going to go 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Why? Because when we go in Daniel 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, we get a better understanding of the book of Revelation. Now, we're going to come out of Revelation 22. We're going to come out of Revelation 13. We're going to come out of Daniel 7, 8, 9. I'm going to stop in 9 because I'm going to take you in 10. Why? Because as always in the 10th chapter, they talk about that Daniel fast. So we're going to deal with that. So now, we're going to go in the 24th chapter of Matthew. When we go in the 24th chapter of Matthew, I want to walk verses 1, 2, and 3. So after I walk verses 1, 2, and 3 of Matthew, I'm going to drop down to the 15th verse. Why? Because I want you to have a better understanding of the abomination of desolation. So once you get an understanding of the abomination of desolation, I'm going to take you to 2 Thessalonians. When we go in 2 Thessalonians, we got to go back in Daniel. When we get in Daniel, I'm not going to drop Jeremiah. I'm not going to drop Ezekiel. I'm not going to drop Isaiah on you. Why? Because this is my birthday week. I don't want to be teaching this hard. I was just going to do some surface teaching, right? But when you all ask questions, I have to answer them. So now, we're going to go in this 13th chapter, and we got to walk this 13th chapter. People, let me tell you something. See them very first 3 verses? Them very, 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 very first 3 verses in that book? Right in those 3 verses, that let us know right there that God is a provider. That God is the provider. And ever since that second verse, after he said, let there be light, and it was good, and all the old 9 yards, ever since then, God has been providing. God has been providing. This is why we in the 22nd chapter of Revelation to get a better understanding that God is the provider. Now, watch this. Watch this. We in that 22nd chapter, and we're going to go to Genesis. But stay focused on today's time. Stay focused on today's time. I'm going to show you something in Daniel. I'm going to read 1 verse in Daniel. I'm going to take in the 13th chapter of Revelation because the 13th chapter of Revelation deals with the first beast, the second beast. The 13th chapter of Revelation deals with the mark of the beast. The 13th chapter of Revelation deals with the 666, letting us know that 666 is a man. I'm going to break the 13 down to you. But I got to go in the book of Daniel. When I go in the book of Daniel, we're going to talk about the lion, the bear, the leopard, the beast. The lion, the bear, the leopard, the beast. Why? Because that was a dream that Daniel had. But now stay focused on the dream that King Nebuchadnezzar had. Because King Nebuchadnezzar had a dream also. Now, Daniel had to interpret King Nebuchadnezzar's dream. So now here it is. Daniel have a dream. In Daniel dreams, we're going to learn, as I say, about the lion, the bear, the leopard, the beast. But watch this. In the book of Revelation, it tells us that the beast is wounded. In the book of Daniel, it tells that the beast had feet of iron, toes like clay. This is where when the pimp gave y'all the game, that 10 toes down, that came from the pimp. But the 10 toes down come from the book of Revelation. They come from the book of Daniel. But we're going to run this. We're going to run this. We're going to break all this stuff down. So when y'all hear people say certain things, y'all have a better understanding. Watch this. I'm going to read Daniel 7. I'm going to read Daniel 7, 24 and 25, right? Read Daniel 7, 4 and 25. I'm going to shoot the Revelation 13. But I really want to, I'm going to read Daniel 7, 24 and 25. Watch this. I'm going to break something down. Watch this. Listen to this. Watch this. Listen to this. Daniel 24, Daniel 7, 24 and 25. And the 10 horns out of this, and the 10 horns out of his kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall rise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings. Stay focused. Verse 25. And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints, and shall wear out the saints, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change time and laws. And they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and the dividing of times. 3.5 years. 3.5 years. Daniel just gave us the game on the last 3.5 years of the tribulation. Because the tribulation time is 7 years. So now in this 7th chapter, Daniel is putting us on game. How he's going to change the time and he's going to change the laws. But in order to do that, it's going to be that one that's going to take those 3, and those 3 are going to control the 7. This is how we get to 10. This is how we get to 7 with 10 crowns, 10 heads. We're going to break all that down. Watch this. This is about one world order. This is about one religion, one economy, and politics. This is why I tell you all, you have to be careful. Daniel had this dream in the 7th chapter. The lion, the bear, the leopard, the beast. In the 8th chapter, it's interpreted. In the 9th chapter, he gives us an understanding about the 72 weeks. He gives us an understanding about the abomination of desolation. Jesus said in the 24th chapter of Matthew, in the 15th verse, when you see him standing in the holy place, you're going to know that's the abomination of desolation. Watch this. In the 9th chapter, Daniel is praying. In the 10th chapter, Daniel's prayer has been answered. God told Daniel, the very first day you decided to humble yourself, I answered you, Daniel. The very first day, I answered your prayer. Watch this. But I'm going to stand in the pulpit and I'm going to tell you to do a Daniel fast. That's a cold duck move. That's a cold duck move. Why would you fast for 21 days? Because that's what Daniel did. Do you really realize what Daniel had seen? Do you really realize why Daniel was going through what he went through? Why would I stand here and tell you to put on a Daniel fast? Watch this. God told Daniel the very first day you decide to humble yourself, I answered you. I came for the words that came out of your mouth, Daniel. But because of the war, because of the spiritual warfare between Persia and all of these, and Archangel Michael and Gabriel they got caught up. This is why it took so long. But yet, I'm going to stand in the pulpit and I'm going to tell you, pray until something happens. That's another cold duck move. Nowhere in the Bible where it tells you to pray until something happens. In the book of Psalms, the children of Israel knew God's acts, but Moses knew God's ways. We ask anything according to his will. We got that. There's a story about the lady in the Bible that kept going to the unjust judge. And she went, and she went, and she went, and she went. He gave her. Man, get a lady whatever she keep asking for, because she done wore me out. Now, in Daniel had a dream. Daniel had a vision about what's taking place in the ending of time. So since Daniel dealing with the ending of time, why would I tell you to do a Daniel fast? When you don't have a clue about what's going on in the ending of time. For Daniel says that the 7 gonna come out of the 10, the 3 gonna control the 7. That's how we get in the book of Revelation. When we go in the book of Revelation, and I'm going to show you, in the book of Revelation, there's going to be one. And he's going to come out of the sea of water. The sea of water represents the body of the people. Okay? Verse 1, 13 and 1. That's your first beast. You go to 13 and 11, and here you're going to get another beast. Now, the first beast cannot do what the second beast can do. Why? Because the Bible said that he was a liar in the beginning and he's going to be a liar in the end. He was a murderer in the beginning, he's going to be a murderer in the end. The first beast cannot profess Jesus like the second beast can. So the first beast is giving power to the second beast, which is a man. And this man is going to have the power over the people. Isn't that not what Daniel said in Daniel 25? That he's going to change the time. He's going to change the laws. People, we're living in a day and time where we got to get ready for what's getting ready to happen. Now, we're going to go in the book of Revelation. We're going to go in that 13th chapter. And we're going to tie that 13th chapter in with the book of Daniel. Why? Because that lion, that bear, that leopard, that beast is in the book of Revelation. This is how the beast is going to get its power. So now, after Daniel's prayer has been answered in the 10th chapter, we go in the 11th chapter and we learn about the Lamb. We go in the 12th chapter and we learn about the ending of time. All of that is dealing with Daniel. Daniel is the book of Revelation, but in the Old Testament. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego had to bow down to the golden image. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego had to bow down to the golden image. King Nebuchadnezzar. The same thing with the Antichrist. That first beast is going to give power to that second beast. And that second beast is going to influence the people. To give their loyalty to the image of the beast. This is why I tell y'all, stop following man, because man just priming you up for what's getting ready to happen in the ending of times. Now, watch this. If Jesus told them, because they asked Jesus 3 questions, when the destruction of the temple come? When, what will be the signs of your return? What will be the ending of times? In the 24th chapter, verses 1, 2, and 3, they asked Jesus these things. So in the 24th chapter, Jesus is breaking it down to them. They asked him. Okay, now, if the abomination of desolation was to take place today, I'm talking about today. You know what we would say? What's going on? What that's about? What they doing? What's happening? But Jesus said, you will know. Stay focused on the abomination of desolation. Why? Because when we get to the abomination of desolation, we are dealing with the last 3.5 years of the tribulation. Wars and rumors of wars and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places and all that. Those are only signs of the beginning of the ending of time. I'm in that 22nd chapter. I got to give you that 22nd chapter Because I got to take you into John. When I take you into John, I got to take you back to Genesis. When I come out of Genesis, I got to take you to Philippians. When I take you into Philippians, I give you a better understanding of what's going on in the 22nd chapter of Revelation, which ties in the book of John. Why? Because the Bible is really broken down into 4 books. What are those 4 books? John, Romans, 1st and 2nd Thessalonians. Why? Because John deals with the deity of Christ. If you understand the book of John, you understand everything dealing with Christ. But when you get into the book of Romans, now you get an understanding of spiritual law. So now after I come out of John dealing with the deity of Jesus, and I come out of Romans dealing with spiritual law, I go into 1st Thessalonians. Why? Because 1st Thessalonians let me know about the returning of Christ. So the Bible is really broken down into 4 books. Why? Because in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God. That's the very first thing John tells us, which takes us all the way, boom, to the very first thing in Genesis. People, see all this evilness that's going on in the world? It's supposed to happen. You can pray it away all you want. It's not going nowhere. Why? Because it's the plan of God. We done ran in these churches and been cold-played. Cold-played. Do you really know the plan of God? Do you really know what's getting ready to happen in the ending of time? Do you really know how God is going to destroy this place? Do you really know all the things that God is going to use? No. But I'm going to tell you, God healed the land. God said, I ain't healing nothing. I'm about to destroy that place. Why? Because it's too evil. So you either going to be on my side and come where I'm at, or you stay down there and keep praying, because I'm going to deal with everybody. But they're not going to teach it to us like that. But that's how it is, people. A lot of times, we be praying against the plan of God because we don't know the plan of God because nobody taught it to us. That's why we still run around here talking about an eye have not seen and an ear have not heard. Stop saying that. Don't let nobody tell y'all that. Don't let nobody tell you that. Why? Because the very next verse says, but it has been revealed. It has been revealed. So if it has been revealed, why are you still telling me I have not seen? Cold game. Say, bro, cold game. But yet God called me. What he called you for? You're right. Many are called, but few are chosen. Let me tell y'all something. See in that 13th chapter of Revelation? That 13th chapter of Revelation, that's your most powerful chapter in the book. If you ever get that chapter, power, you will see life so differently. You'll have a better understanding of life. Why? Because he's going to give man his one world. Why? It started all the way back in the book of Genesis with Nimrod. Nimrod was the first one. How Nimrod? Nimrod, hold up, Nimrod. How you feel you're going to build a tower and go check God? Because this is what Nimrod was doing. We going to build a tower, y'all. We going up there. We going to check this dude. We going to see what's happening with this dude they call God. But then God said, man, what's up with these fools? What they tripping? God confused all the languages. Nobody was able to communicate with nobody. Shut that down. When you do a deeper study, right over there, the tower's still there. Parts of that tower that they were building is still there. God is going to give man his one world order because that's what he wants. God said, I'm going to let him have that. So now when we get in the 24th chapter of Matthew, and we get to with that 15th verse, when he said, when you see him standing in the temple, note that that's the abomination of desolation. Why? Dude got kicked out of heaven, y'all. He got kicked out of heaven because he wanted to be God. You think that stopped? No, he still wants to be God. This is why when we go in 2 Thessalonians, we go in the 2nd chapter, we're going to see that he's going to stand in the temple as if he is gourd. That's the abomination of desolation. But watch this. When you study the book of Daniel, when you study the book of Ezekiel, when you study the book of Jeremiah, you study the book of Isaiah, the Jews partnering with this dude. They partnering with this dude. So now since they went into partnership with this dude gonna flip the script on. He gonna cold flip the script. Why? Because he was a liar in the beginning. This is why in the 11th chapter of Revelation, God said, okay, now y'all got to build this temple. Y'all got to build a temple because y'all going to, what's getting ready to happen in the 13th chapter? That temple that y'all thought y'all had, that's a wrap. That's a wrap. So this is why John, in the 10th chapter, he had to eat the book. And when he ate the book, he had to bring that thing. He had to bring it and bring it and bring it. Why? Because now we're in the 11th chapter, and now he got to build the temple. And he's building the temple for the Jews. That's why he said don't worry about the outside, because the outside is for the Gentiles. But the Gentiles is coming. It was the Jews that rejected him. It was the Jews that denied him. It was the Jews that did what they did to him. How do I know? Because when I go in the 28th chapter of Matthew, it tells me that he was Mary that first seen Jesus when he rose from the dead. It wasn't no Mary. It was the guard. The guards was the first one to see him when he came out of the tomb. But the Jews paid the guards to say that his disciples came and took him when they fell asleep. They paid the Jews to say that. The Jews paid the guards to say that. Just like today, man is paying man to say anything in God's house. Why? Just imagine if the woman of God and the man of God stood up and told the truth. Just imagine how life would have been if the guards would have went around telling the truth that they seen this man come out of the tomb. But because of money, it paid him. Read the 28th chapter of Matthew, and it still exists today. So now, in this 13th chapter, here come this beast out of the body of water. The body of water represents the people. Now we got the beast that's going to come from the body of water. That's your first beast. The 11th verse. Then we got another beast that's going to come out of the earth, which is the man. Daniel tells us about the lion, the bear, the leopard, the beast. The lion, the bear, the leopard, the beast. In the 13th chapter, it tells us that the beast that was wounded is now healed. The beast that once was wounded is now healed. Why? Because in Daniel's dream, he had feet like iron and toes like clay. But the toes gonna be gone. Why? Because it wasn't nothing but clay. But the iron feet are still going to be there. That's how the beast was wounded. So now the beast is going to get healed. Let's tie Daniel's dream with John's vision with King Nebuchadnezzar's dream. King Nebuchadnezzar, Babylon, Media Persia, Greece, Rome. Babylon, Media Persia, Greece, Rome. Babylon, lion. Daniel, den of lions. Media Persia, the bear. The bear. The bear. Greece, the leopard. Greece, the leopard. Rome, iron. Beast. Y'all think this is a game? Shit, bro, this stuff gonna get worse and worse and worse. But who's been putting us on this type of game? Who really been breaking this Bible down for us? Who really been giving us the real? Because this is where we are, people. So now when we get in that 13th chapter and we see that first beast, how he gonna have what? Lion, the bear, the leopard, the beast. Go read it. You want me to read it for you? I'll read it for you. And walk you all through Daniel and show you how he's going to get in power. And after he get in power, now we in the 5th chapter. I mean the 5th verse. When we get in that 5th verse, he going to say, I'm God. He going to blaspheme God's name. He going to blaspheme God's temple. Now, he's in power. But he can't do it without the man. This is why the man is a beast. He's going to be a cold genius. He going to be sharp. He going to be able to bring all these people together. That's why they call him a beast. The world is going to get more and more and more chaotic, people. This is what has to put the beast in place. Why? The more chaotic it get, the more believing we will be. If it's a homeless problem, I'm going to fix it. If it's a housing problem, I'm going to fix it. Anything medical, I'm going to fix it. With all these people with drug problems, I'm going to fix it. I'm going to raise all the wages. I'm going to make this pay this pay that. Oh man, we're going to have utopia right here on earth. And you know what? We're going to say, boy, that's our guy right there. All the while, it's going to be the beast. Y'all have to realize who we're dealing with. Satan. This dude hung around God all day, every day. This dude led worship. This dude was the most beautiful angel it is. Don't look for nothing ugly. Don't look for nothing ugly. That's why a lot of women get caught up in the stuff they get caught up, and a lot of men, because we look for beauty all the while. That's the cold devil. All the while, that be the cold devil. Because the Bible don't say nobody being ugly. Man describes him as ugly. Nothing about him is ugly. But because he led worship in heaven, he know one thing. If I did it once, I could do it again. That's why the Bible calls him such a great deceiver. So now here on earth, it's going to come once again through worship. If I can if I can influence angels, if I can influence these angels to follow me out of the presence of God, well, I know what I could do with them humans. I got them. Because they never seen what these angels seen. I got them. See how cold the game is? The mark of the beast is going to come through worship. Stay focused on Rome, because Rome is going to come into power again. That's the Bible. Believe that. This is why the beast was wounded. Babylon, gold. Media Persia, silver. Greece, bronze. Rome, iron. The Antichrist is going to use the trace of gold, the trace of silver, the trace of bronze, and the trace of iron. He's going to go back in time. He's going to go back in time. And he's going to get all the things that happened back in time that work, and he's going to use them. For as we say, when you're in Rome, do as the Romans. Study. Because see, when you go back during the time of Caesar, if you went to the temple, you went twice a year, once or twice a year. And every time you went, you got a certificate. Every time you went, you got a certificate. And that certificate was proof of your loyalty to Caesar. Show you how cold the game is now. When you take that mark, when you show your loyalty to the Antichrist, you're going to get your certificate. Your certificate is going to be your mark. But if you don't show your loyalty to him, he can't never mark you. Because if the people didn't show their loyalty to Caesar and went, they wouldn't have never got the certificate. So the certificate was the proof to Caesar. So wherever you went and you showed that certificate, you was good. Why? Because you showed your loyalty to Caesar. Watch this. Jesus flipped the script. Jesus said what? Render Caesar's was Caesar, and unto God was God. But look how he played it. Look how he played it. He gonna require taxes. Pay my taxes. I don't have no loyalty to him. Duty. Pay my taxes. So Jesus would tell Peter, go get the money and pay the taxes. Why? Because Caesar was the king. But yet, Jesus' loyalty was never to Caesar. People, in these end times, we're gonna have to be able to think. We're gonna really have to be able to think, and we're gonna have to watch and listen. Watch and listen. Watch and listen. Listen to what's coming out of the people's mouths. It's not going to get better. You either get yourself together, because you're going to go either one way. First resurrection, second death. First resurrection, second death. There's no in between. There is no in between. But for the last 25, 30 years, they've been cold playing us with prosperity, and now the real done come up. Wow. What is this? What is this? We don't have a clue about the mark of the beast. We don't have a clue about the first and second beast. We don't have a clue about the abomination of desolation. Come on, man. This stuff, this one world order, it's going to happen. One religion, it's going to happen. Economy, one economy, it's going to happen. Politics is going to happen. This is why Babylon is going to fall. This is why Babylon is going to fall. Because of the economy, because of the religion, and because of the politics. God is tired of the foolish. He's tired of the foolish. But God's so sharp. This is why God said, my ways are not your ways. My thoughts are not your thoughts. God is using the Antichrist to judge evil, to judge ungodliness. God couldn't use nothing good. He had to use that which is evil to judge that which is evil. Why do you think Jesus, who knew no sin, had to be made sin in order to deal with sin? Yet y'all let these people play in y'all talking about a Daniel fast. It's a cold game, man. Don't get caught up in that. Daniel wasn't fasting because Daniel was fast. It wasn't no fast. Daniel was praying. It was a vision. He was praying because he seen what was getting ready to happen. He seen about the abomination of desolation. He seen about the horn with the lamb. He seen all of this. Daniel seen what was getting ready to happen. That's why Daniel was praying for the people. Daniel was praying for the people. People, just imagine when we line up with God. Get off our own agendas and really line up with God and line up with the true word of God. I was talking to somebody, talking to the elder yesterday, and the elder said, yeah, because the kingdom suffered violence, violence took it by force. I said to myself, do they really know what they just said? But we quote that scripture. The kingdom suffered violence, and violence took it by force. What have you just said? What have you just said? Because when you talk about that scripture, you're talking about John the Baptist. And John the Baptist was what? Beheaded. They took John the Baptist's head off. Why? Because those who wanted to be in power, they took it by force. The kingdom of God, because John the Baptist was the last prophet of the Old Testament. He wound up in the New Testament. And because John the Baptist was preaching the kingdom of God, he suffered violence. And the violence did it by force. They cut his head off. This is why, when we go in the 19th chapter of Acts, and Paul run up on these people, and Paul say, have y'all received since y'all believe? They say, no, we ain't never heard of no Holy Ghost. What are you talking about, Paul? Why? Why that happened? Why? How could these people believe but not receive? What happened? What happened? How could they believe in God and not receive the Spirit of God? What happened? Why is it that, God? Why is it that, God? Because they was disciples of John. They were still disciples of John. Before Jesus came with his disciples, John had his disciples. So John's disciples was going. They were doing their thing. They were doing all they knew how to do. So now here come Paul, who have received the Spirit of God, who now is an apostle of Jesus. This is why Paul asked them that. Have y'all received since y'all believe? They say, no, we haven't. Because they was disciples of John. When you're reading and you studying that Bible, when you're reading and you study what is written, when you're reading and studying the literature, you have to know the difference. Who was of Jesus and who was of John. Because if you follow in the ways of John, you're going to miss the ways of Jesus. So now when we running in these churches with all this old feel-good stuff, we running in these churches with all this Mary had a little lamb, we running in these churches with Humpty Dumpty. When the real reality hit us, I'm talking about some real biblical study, we don't have a clue. Why? Because man done played so many games. The average pastor, the average bishop, they don't know that Bible. They do not know that Bible. Why? My boy, that's my boy, bishop. It's my boy, pastor. Man, put that in your pocket. Give me a certificate. Now I'm a bishop. Now I done went through Bible college. Ain't studied not one verse. I paid though. Cold game. But you gonna stand in front of God's people and play them like that? That's my thing. God, I ain't been to nobody Bible college. Been to nobody seminary. And will walk any one of them. I will walk any one of them. Why? I sat in the presence of God. I sat up under God. I sat up under the teachers of God. Know his game. Say, bro, you playing with where these people gonna spend eternity. You playing with these people relationship with God behind a dollar, behind a cold dollar. And y'all wondering why it's so messed up. If you ask me, they need to stand in the pulpit and apologize to them people. Say, bro, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for messing you up. They need to stand in the pulpit and apologize to the people of God for handling them the way they've been handling, because they've been handling y'all any kind of way. Any kind of way. Revelation 13, and I stood up on the sands of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads, 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his head the name of blasphemy. And the beast I saw was like unto a leopard, until his feet were as the feet of a bear, and unto his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And then the dragon gave him his power and his seat and a great authority. And I saw one of his heads as it was wounded to death, and his deadly wounds was healed. And all the world wondered after the beast. The whole world was marveling behind this beast. That's why I tell you, okay, so what, you a bishop? So what? What that mean to me? Nothing. So what, you the pastor? What that mean? Nothing. Why? Because when I get into this Bible and I really get understanding, I look at the qualifications and I get understanding the spirit, stop running game on these people, boy. You've been cold handling these people down bad. But yet, you want them to respect that? I don't respect it. I don't respect it. Why? Because Jesus said, watch out for them false prophets. Jesus said, watch out for them false teachers. How you know who the false teacher? How you know who the false prophet? They're going to teach you that? They're going to teach you that. They're not going to teach you that. But I can respect a false prophet not teaching me that he's a false prophet. I got that. I can respect a false teacher not teaching me that he's a false teacher. I got that. But what I don't respect is that you know that's a false prophet. You know that's a false teacher. And you're not a false prophet and you're not a false teacher, but you're not teaching me. They are. I don't respect that. I don't respect that. Why? Jesus was always putting his people on top of game. Paul was always putting his people on top of game. Going that very first 22nd chapter of Revelation, verses 1 and 2, talks about a river. It talks about streets. It talks about crystal. It talks about all of the things. But in order to understand what's going on, you got to go back to the very first book. Genesis 1, 2, and 3. God said, let there be light. God said, let there be light before the first, second, third, or fourth day. He didn't create the moon, the sun, and the stars till the fourth day. God said, let there be light. Why? Because I want this world to know I'm the provider. I want this world to know I'm going to give them something that no man will ever be able to give them. I'm going to give them the light. I'm going to give them the light of the world. I'm going to give that same light that he said, let there be light. It's the same light when we get in that 22nd chapter of Revelations. And we're going to walk it. Verses 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let nobody give y'all no one verse. Because they've been cold playing y'all with that one verse foolishness. All the world wondered after the beast, and they worshiped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast. And they worshiped the beast, saying, who is likened unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? They done cold switched out on God. They done made this beast everything. Who's able to make war with the beast? Who can beat the beast? The beast is now doing what it said when he first got his power in that first seal. And that very first seal, which is the white horse. And the rider got on that white horse, and he's coming to conquer. He's coming to conquer. This is why it's very important that we know those 7 seals. This is why Jesus said, many will be deceived. Many shall come in my name. Many shall come in my name. Look how many people all up and down social media in the name of Jesus and don't have a clue of the word of God. He said, many shall come in my name and deceive many. So since God showed me that, and I know that, it's only about right that I be on the wall like Nehemiah and say, y'all watch this. Watch him. No, that's not true. That don't go like that. No, that don't go like that. Why? Because I don't want you to be deceived. I don't want you to be deceived. There's no way in the world, no man can stand and do what God has allowed me to do since March to this day, and be able to teach his word, preach his word, and convey his word in the manner in which you get every day. Man, that's God. It's not me. It's God, people. Ask your pastor. Ask your bishop. Ask them how long it take them to get Sunday message ready. Ask them how long it take them to get Bible study ready. That's why if you look at your notes been the same messages for the last 10, 15 years. Because the average pastor ain't got but 10 messages. And you wondering why? You wondering why? God, no man can do this. Only God can teach his people the way he has been teaching you all. Ask your pastor, ask your bishop. They've been to Bible, they've been to Bible college, they done been to seminary, they done been to theology. Can't teach it to you like that. They will not teach it to you like that. Why? Because that man taught that man to teach 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 that man. And man just been following man all these years, handling us like cold ducks. God said, okay, that's enough of that. I'm going to teach my people. You ready, Mike? Ready, babe. So every day, just give it to you. I need my Bible. It's here. Because the time going to come when they're going to take them Bibles. Then what? Then what? The time has come. That prosperity, nobody want to hear that. What I'm going to do with that? What we going to do? No, we need to know what's getting ready to happen. We need to be able to fight in this war that's coming. We need to be able to stand grounded and rooted in the word of God. Not all that jibby jabbing. Man, ain't a cold jibby jab, y'all. And the last I've been here 7 months. 7 months. Every day, haven't missed a day. Hour, 2 hours. Hour, 2 hours. Not because you giving me anything. No. Because my loyalty is to God. My alliance is with God. And that's all. How can I teach you to be loyal to God and I'm not being loyal to God? Every day he wake me up. Come on, Mike, go here. Go here. But God, you're not supposed to be in the 22nd chapter. No, come out of that 22nd chapter. Go in that 13th chapter. When you go in that 13th chapter, I need you to break that 13th chapter down. Why? Because they need to get an understanding of the first beast. They need to see that this thing is real. They need to see that this first beast is going to give power to the second beast, and the second beast is going to be a man. But they need to go back in Daniel when they're going back in Daniel, and you break it down with the dream of Nebuchadnezzar. You break down Daniel's dream because you got to tie King Nebuchadnezzar's dream with Daniel's dream that ties in with the vision of John. When you get the vision of John, then you can get a better understanding of the dream that Daniel had. So when you go in the book of Daniel, you walk the book of Daniel, then you can go in the book of Ezekiel. Because when you get in Ezekiel, you get you a better understanding what's going on in the book of Revelation. Why? Because you can't get the book of Revelation without getting the book of Ezekiel. Why? Because when you go in the book of Ezekiel, Ezekiel talk about the ending of time. You go in the book of Isaiah, Isaiah talk about the ending of time. So Daniel talk about the ending of time, Ezekiel talk about the end of time, Isaiah talk about the time, and that's all Jeremiah was trying to put the people on top of game. Of God. Jeremiah got so mad. Jeremiah said, I'm not going to even mention his name. But Jeremiah said it was like fire in my bones. So Jeremiah had to keep going. He had to keep going. Every day, people, we got to keep going. We got to keep going. We got to keep going. So what they get mad, let them get mad. This is about your salvation. This is about your relationship with God. This is about where you're going to spend eternity. And you're going to let a man play with that? A Negro and his mammy not about to play with my salvation. He not about to play with my eternity. And he is not about to play with my relationship with God. So that's why I study. That's why I study. That's why I read. Why? Because when I listen to man, and man stand up there talking about, well, God said, let there be light, Lord. Look how it was shining. Man, hold up, bro. Stop playing these games with these people, bro. Stop using these scriptures any kind of way you want to use them. Why? Because when I hear y'all stand up there and y'all talk about the ankle bone connected to the leg bone and the leg bone was connected to the backbone and the backbone and say, bro, stop playing with God like that. Because when I go in that 37th chapter of Ezekiel and God asks Ezekiel, can them bones live? It's because God was about to bring everything back together. Because God was about to resuscitate, not resurrect, but resuscitate what had taken place with Israel. Why? Because the time had come to bring Israel back together. Why? Because when Solomon died, the family fell apart. When Solomon died, the family fell apart. Benjamin and Judah was beefing. Benjamin and Judah was beefing. So now God is asking Ezekiel, can these bones live? Can they come back together, Ezekiel? For they say that they are dried up. They hoping God is gone. So God would have Ezekiel to prophesy to the bones. Bones came together. Muscle and skin covered the bones. But wherever they died, they lied. So if they died lying down, that's where they still were once the bones connected and the skin came. If they died bent over, they still was bent over. But then God would tell Ezekiel to prophesy to the wind again. And he prophesied to the wind, and the wind filled the bodies, and the Bible said they stood up like a mighty army. So what are you saying, Ezekiel? That same 12, Israel, that same 12. If they didn't come together in Ezekiel, they would have never made it to the 7th chapter of Revelation. Because when you go in the 7th chapter of Revelation, you're going to see all 12 of them. This is how you get your 144,000. God is going to add 12,000 to the 12,000, which is the 144,000. After the church is gone, after the 2 witnesses are gone, that 144,000 is going to be here. Why? Watch this. Verse 5 says, and there was given unto him a mouth, speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 42 months, 3.5 years. Is not that what Daniel said? Is not that what Daniel said? He's going to change the laws. He's going to change the time for 3.5 years. Daniel 7:25. So now here it is for 3.5 years. Now he have a mouth. Where's his mouth going to come through? The man, which is the second beast. Watch this. Verse 6. And he opened his mouth and blasphemed against God. And he opened his mouth and blasphemed against God, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle and them that dwell it in heaven. Antichrist just showed up, y'all. He done blasphemed God. He done blasphemed the tabernacle and all the people. I got this now. I'm the man now. I'm the man. People, this stuff is going to happen. Spite. This is why a lot of women of God and a lot of men of God don't teach it, because it deals with prophecy. Man can't teach you to. Man cannot teach you to teach prophecy. That's why we teach them other 65 books. Them other 65 books, that stuff happened. Them other 65 books, the salvation, the history of salvation, who God used, how he used them, the whole 9 yards. See that 66 book? That's about prophecy. That's about what's going to happen. And we need to be on top of game about what's going to happen, because the disciples asked Jesus the 3 questions. 3 questions. When will the temple be destroyed? What will be the signs of your coming? And how will we know of the ending of time? Verse 7, and it was given unto him to make war. It was given unto him to make war with the saints, to make war with the saints, and to overcome them, and power was given him over all kindred and tongues and nations. But yet I'm going to stand in the pulpit and tell you, you're overcomer. Don't worry about it, you're overcomer. Man, say, bro, when I run up on that, I need to be ready. I need to be ready. Why? because he's gathering power. He's getting ready to war against the saints. To war against the saints. But the saints ain't even ready. The saints don't have a clue. Because we've been chasing houses and cars and money and business and relationships and all that foolishness. And all the while, he gonna knock fire from us. As well as our children, as well as our children's children, as well as our children's children. You go in that Old Testament, God said, teach this generation, that generation teach that generation, that generation teach that generation, and going from generation to generation, knowing who I am. Because not everybody came across that sea. Not everybody was able to witness what happened in the wilderness for them 40 years. But there were those who were able to be a witness to the next generation about the goodness and the mercy of God. How many of us done left the church because we didn't have 10%? How many of us? How many of us didn't even go to church because we didn't have 10%? Only to find out during this pandemic that is no such thing. Wow. Wow. Wait, Pastor Mike. Wait. It's no such thing. So you didn't attend church because some lying preacher told you about 10%. He need to tell you he's sorry. He need to tell you he's sorry. And if you left a church because of that, they need to tell you they sorry. Because I've been right here. Through the rain, the storm, and everything else. I've been right here since March. I said, bring me one verse. You ain't gotta bring me two. Bring me one verse. And show me that I'm lying about Malachi. Show me that I'm lying about Malachi. That 10% is in Malachi. Show me. And I'll press this button and never come on again. I asked them to do it since March. And nobody showed up yet. Okay. So now, if 10% is not there, you owe me another apology. Asking me for my W-2s and all that other foolishness. See how man been playing y'all? Like cold ducks. Handling y'all any kind of way. Bring me your W-2. Let me see how much money you with. I don't want your net, I want your gross. I don't want your gross, I want your net. That's not even in the Bible. So if that's not good, that means none of that other foolishness is good. Because your 10% of money came, your prosperity was coming off your 10% of giving. When now there's no such thing as your 10% of giving, so your prosperity wasn't going to even work. Another cold duck move. Man, we've been played all across the board. But thank God that he's faithful. Thank God that he's loving. Thank God that he's merciful. Thank God that he's kind. Thank God. Why? Even though we didn't know no better, God still looked out for us. But now God's saying, you know what? Enough of that. Enough of that. If you want to be a duck, be a duck. You want to be a gopher? You be a gopher. But God letting his people know what's really happening. God is putting his people on some real game. I gotta. How we get way in Jeremiah? We was in Revelation. I was way out. I don't know how I get in Jeremiah. We was way in Revelation, the 13th chapter, but I'm going to read where he done turned the page to Jeremiah. But watch this. Jeremiah, I'm going to read. Jeremiah 3, 16, 17, 18. Watch this. 16. And it shall come to pass, and it shall come to pass, and it shall come to pass, when you be multiplied and increased in the land, in those days, says the Lord, they shall say no more, the ark of the covenant, the ark of the covenant, the ark of the covenant of the Lord, neither shall it come to mind. neither shall they remember it, neither shall they visit it, neither shall they be done any more. 17, watch this. At that time they shall call Jerusalem the throne of the Lord, and all the nations shall be gathered unto it, to the name of the Lord, to Jerusalem. Neither shall they walk any more after the imagination of their evil heart. 18. In those days, the house of Judah shall walk with the house of Israel. Lord have mercy. And they shall call together out of the land, out of the north, to the land that I have given for an inheritance unto your fathers. Wow. Jeremiah, the 3rd chapter, putting us on top of Shekinah glory. Back in those times, the Ark of God was in the covenant. The covenant of God was in the Ark. They carried it. They carried it around. They carried God around. Everywhere they went, they had it in the Ark. They carried God around. God said, we ain't going to do that no more. We're not going to do that no more. Time going to come, I'm going to dwell in my people. They don't have to carry me around in no box. I'm going to dwell in my people. Which takes me back in the 22nd chapter and dealing with verses 1 through 5. Which takes me all the way back to Genesis 1, 2, and 3 when he said, let there be light. Which takes me all the way back to Philippians 1 and 6. Because Philippians 1 and 6 says, he's going to finish what he started. Wait, God, wait. You started it in Genesis. You're going to finish it in Revelation. But you told us that in Philippians. Joel, the 3rd chapter. I'm going to read something. Joel, the 3rd chapter. Joel, the 3rd chapter. 16. Watch this. 15. I'm going to start at 15. The sun and the moon shall be darkened, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. The Lord also shall roar out of Zion and utter his voice from Jerusalem. And the heavens and the earth shall shake. But the Lord will be the hope of his people. But the Lord will be the hope of his people and the strength of the children of Israel. So shall you know that I am the Lord your God, dwelling in Zion, my holy mountain. Then shall Jerusalem be holy, and there shall no stranger pass through her any more. 13th chapter of Revelation took us in the 3rd chapter of Jeremiah. The 3rd chapter of Jeremiah took us in the 3rd chapter of Joel. The 3rd chapter of Joel takes us back into the Great Tribulation. Wait, everything all through there winds up in Revelation. But we don't know Revelation. So all this time, you've been giving us half of a story. Because everything is completed in Jerusalem. Why? Because the Antichrist wants to sit on the throne in Jerusalem. How do I know? Let me show you. Second Thessalonians, second chapter. Second Thessalonians, second chapter. I'm going to start with the very first verse. Watch this. Now we beseech you, brethren, by the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ, and by our gathering together unto him, that you be not soon shaken in mind or troubled, neither by spirit, nor by word, nor by letter, as from us, as that the day of Christ is at hand. Second Thessalonians 2 and 3. Let no man deceive you. Let no man deceive you. Let no man deceive you by any means. For that day shall not come. For that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that the man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. It can't happen until he's been revealed. It can't happen until he's been revealed. So if it happened and it never been revealed, that means God will be a liar. But when I go back and I read that eye have not seen, ear have not heard, neither have it entered into the heart of man, but the very next verse says, but it has been revealed to us by the Spirit. So if it has been revealed to us by the Spirit, we should know it. Why? Because it says it's been revealed. So now, when I look at this, in 2 Thessalonians, and he tell me this can't happen except by the falling of the way, the sin of man, the son of perdition. Who is the son of perdition? Satan. Watch this. Watch the next verse. Verse 4. Who opposeth and exalt himself above all that is called God, or that is worship. Above all that is called God, or that is worship, so that he is as God, sitting in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. The abomination of desolation. Now, this is what Jeremiah was talking about. This is what Ezekiel was talking about. This is what Daniel is talking about. He's going to sit in the temple. Because in the 13th chapter, we see them blaspheme the temple of God. We see that he has blasphemed God. But God was already on top of game. Why? Because God said, Joel, I'm going to dwell in my people. It ain't about no building. He's still running behind the building. But I'm in my people now. This is why, during the week, last week, and somebody asked me the other day, this is why the Bible says, be not evenly yoked with unbelievers. It has nothing to do with no marriage. You marry who you want. That's between you and whoever you marry. It got nothing to do with that. It don't have nothing to do with you being married to, because the Bible says if you married to an unbeliever, you sanctify the one that's an unbeliever. And if you the unbeliever and they're a believer, they sanctify you. That's what Paul tells us. And if you want to divorce somebody, Paul say, man, don't be holding nobody hostage. Let them people go. But yet we run out there with this Bible telling you to stick. No. And man, y'all don't even belong together. Paul said, let them people go, man. Don't hold nobody hostage. But yet, people going to tell you to stay in that marriage. Because the Bible say that. Show it to me. Show it to me and I will walk you with it. Because in that seventh chapter of 1 Corinthians, Paul said, don't be around here holding nobody hostage. Let them people go if they won't go. But yet we use the Bible to our advantage. We use the Bible to make it say we won't say what God say. No, that's not what that's about. So now here it is. He making himself God. And when you go back in the 24th chapter of Matthew, Jesus said, when you see this, Matthew 24. Matthew 24. I'm going to read 15. I'm going to read 14 and 15. Matthew 24. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. And then shall the end come. Verse 15. When you therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel, and when you shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel, the prophet standing in the holy place, 2 Thessalonians, standing in the holy place, calling himself God, standing in the holy place, the 13th chapter of Revelation. Whoso read it, let him understand it. You think I'm going to be running around here talking about some prosperity? And I see what's getting ready to happen? Man, miss me, babe. I need to get as many people ready as I can. Why? He said, because this gospel got to be preached. I can't come back until this person know, that 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 person know. Why? That way nobody could stand in front of me and say they didn't hear. That way nobody could stand in front of me and say they didn't know. But look at all the people that have died under this Mary had a little lamb teaching. People, God raising his people up. God, where you? Come out of that church. Come on, you're going to go to this church. Here, stay at this church. Now, you come out of this church. You go over there by that church. I already know how you're going to. Hey, come here. Y'all come out this church. Y'all going to go to that church over there. No, y'all come out of this church. Y'all go out there. God is moving people around. God is putting his people where he want to put them. Why? Because God is in control now. God is in control now. God running this thing. God running this thing. Well, and guess what? Don't fight him. Don't fight him. Don't fight him. Don't fight him. I know you was once over there, now you're over there. I know y'all was once over there, now y'all over there. I know y'all, because now God moving. Why? Because we set up under one teaching, and that's all we knew. And we believed that's all it was. But now we starting to see, whoa, wait. That's what denomination did to us. Messed us up, locked us in under one type of teaching. This is why Paul rolled up on them and said, hold up, baby. Have y'all received the Spirit since y'all believe? And people ain't even never heard of that. Why? Because they were disciples of John the Baptist, and they was only taught that way. So here come Paul, putting them on top of game. So now, pandemic, God just putting y'all on top of game. Why? Pastor fault, that's all he knew. That's all John the Baptist knew. That was his ministry. That's why John the Baptist said, there's one that was before me, but he's coming after me. Boy, I'm baptizing y'all with that water. But see, when he come, well, he going to baptize with that fire. He going to baptize y'all with that fire. What is the fire? Holy Spirit. The same one was in the beginning. All three of them was there. God, the Holy Spirit, and the light, Jesus. Since the beginning of time. Since the beginning of time. When you get the book of Revelation, all three of them going to be there. Why? Because in the book of Revelation, he's not called Jesus. He's called the Lamb. In the book of Revelation, the Lamb. God and the Lamb. God and the Lamb. God and the Lamb. Watch this. Beast, false prophet. Beast, false prophet. Beast, false prophet. Everywhere you see the beast, you're going to see the false prophet. Everywhere you see the beast, you're going to see the false prophet. Everywhere you see the beast, you're going to see the false prophet. Everywhere you see God, you're going to see the Lamb. God, the Lamb. God, the Lamb. Beast, false prophet. Dude won't be God so bad. Dude won't be God so bad. Same thing that happened in the pulpit. Same thing that happened in the pulpit. Here comes Satan. He tried Jesus. And man should not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of God. Satan took him to a higher place. Man, I'll give you all of this. I'll give you all the money, all the cars, I'll give you everything. Man should worship the Lord thy God, and him only will I serve. Satan tried Jesus. He tempted him. He overcame that. But look at man today. Well, I'll give you 1 million followers every day. He'll fall for it. I'll give you so much money that he'll fall for it. Miss me with all that foolishness. I'm going to give you the real, raw, uncut truth every day. Because I know they've been cold playing you. Like a duck. Like a cold duck at that. You can't do nothing with cold duck. Nothing. 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 Wrap this up. And when you see, and therefore you shall see, and therefore you shall see, and therefore you shall see the abomination of desolation. Thank you, Lord. I know. I got you, baby. I got you, baby. You know how we do it. You know how we do it. We run it. I got you. John, 7th chapter. John, the 7th chapter. Start at .33. John 7:33. Watch this. Then said Jesus unto them, yet a little while I'm with you, and then I go unto him that sent me. Stay with me. You shall seek me, and you shall not find me. And where I am, there you cannot come. 35. Then said the Jews among themselves, whither will he go, that shall we not find him? Will he go unto the dispersed among the Gentiles and teach the Gentiles? What manner of saying is this that he said, you shall seek me and shall not find me, and where I am, there you cannot come. 37. In the last day, that great day of the feast, Jesus stood and cried, saying, if any man thirst, let him come unto me and drink. And he that believe on me, as the scripture has said, out of his belly shall flow rivers of living water. 39. But this spake he of the Spirit. Which they that believe on him shall receive. For the Holy Ghost was not yet given, because that Jesus was not yet glorified. So how many of us stuck in the teachings before the glorification of Jesus? But then Jesus was glorified. For we know that the death, the burial, and the resurrection had took place. So now here it is, Paul is putting them on top of game. So now, we're in a different dispensation. Who's putting us on top of some real biblical game? I'm talking about some real biblical game. Not too many people going to touch Revelation, because Revelation deals with prophecy. Revelation, only God can give a man that type of wisdom, that type of knowledge. Why? Because you got to know them other 65 books. Got to know them. Because everything in that Revelation going to take you back into those books. I'm going to do a double close in a second. Watch this. A double close. That's gangster. Double close. Yeah, we're going to do a double close. Revelation 19 and 1. Revelation 19 and 1 says, and after these things I heard a great voice of much people in heaven saying, Alleluia, Alleluia, salvation and glory and honor and power unto the Lord our God. Watch this. Watch this. For true and righteousness are his judgment, for he had judged the great whore which did corrupt the earth with her fornication, and had avenged the blood of his servants at her hand. Verse 6. And I heard as it were the voice of a great multitude, and as the voice of many waters, as the voice of the mighty thundering, saying, Alleluia, for the Lord God omnipotent reigns. It's 19. It's John the 8th chapter, 7th chapter, Revelation 22nd chapter, Genesis the 1st chapter, Jeremiah the 3rd chapter, Joel the 3rd chapter. Watch this. And we're going to close it in 2 Peter, but watch this. We're going to close it twice. Watch this. Revelation the 22nd chapter deals with the rivers of waters. Why? Because as John says, it flows. It flows. Where's this river of water coming from? It's coming from God and the Lamb. God and the Lamb. This is why Jesus would tell the woman by the well, I got water you don't even know nothing about. But how you going to get this water when you don't have nothing? I already got it. Why? Because it came from the Father. Because the Father and I are one. Why? Because it started all the way in the beginning. Because in the beginning he said, let there be light. And it was in the light that we have everything we need. But yet we've been letting man cold play us. It's all good. I ain't finished. Watch this. So now we're going to go in Peter. And we're going to close twice. Watch this. Jeremiah the 3rd chapter, Joel the 3rd chapter, Revelation 19, Revelation 22, Daniel 7, 8, 9, and 10. Jump to 12. Come out of Daniel 7, 8, 9, 10. Out of 12. Come out of Revelation the 13th. All the way to 1 through 7. Come out of there. Now guess what? We're in the 3rd chapter of 2 Peter, and watch this. Back in March, God told me, every time you close, I need you to go in that 3rd chapter of Peter, and I need you to start at that 8th verse. And I need you to read all the way to the end. Every time you close, every day you close, read those verses of scripture. I didn't understand it then. I didn't even know. Every day I close, I've been putting y'all on top of game. Every day. Why? What's up with this new heaven? What's up with this new Jerusalem? What do we know about a new heaven? What do we know about a new Jerusalem? We've been so manipulated. We've been so spiritually played that we really don't understand that heaven is going to be just like the earth. What you see now, it's going to be the same thing. But instead of houses, Jesus says it's going to be mansions. It's going to be mansions. The thing is that when the New Jerusalem come down, this is what's talked about in that 21st chapter about the 12 gates, north, south, east, west. If I had to listen to those preachers back in the days, I'm picturing God, and I'm just, however, raise your hand, get ready to praise. No. Zechariah said we're going to walk around just like we do today. We're going to be enjoying life just as we do today. But it won't be no corruption, no deception, no evil, no foolishness. None of that. None of that. No pain, no sorrow, none of that. But that's the thing that God had in mind when he first said, let there be light. And when he created man, he was just supposed to be beautiful. Man messed it up. Just like today. Second Peter, 3rd chapter. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up. The earth also and the works that are therein. Go all the way back in the book of Genesis. In the beginning, when God was creating, when God was feeling, when God said, man, I put all the trees and the grass, I put all that down. So if I want to burn it up, I'm going to burn it up. I put it down. That's what Peter's saying. Stuff is going to be burned up. So guess what? See all of us who running around here, jibby jabbing about Jesus, don't want to accept Jesus Christ as our Lord and Savior. See all us running around here, jibby jabbing, no one believe. See when this place catch on fire. We're going to still be here. And guess what? See when the New Jerusalem come now, boom. We're going to sit right here on this earth while the rest of it on fire. This is why Jesus says, and the gates of hell shall not be able to prevail. That fire won't be able to touch the New Jerusalem. But if you let man teach it to you, man gonna have you thinking you going in some ground. No, little brother. Peter give us the cold game. Peter put us on top of a game. Every day our clothes. Been reading it. God said every day you close, you start at that 8th verse and go all the way to the end. 2 Peter, 3rd chapter. Verse 11, seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of person are you to be in all holy conversation and godliness, looking for, and hasting unto the coming day of God, wherein the heavens being on fire shall be dissolved, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. Every time in the book of Job, when God asks Satan, what you been doing, babe? I'm just rolling to and fro through the earth. Satan contaminated heaven. God said, okay, gotta burn it up too. Everything get burned down. The heaven, the earth, burn it all of it. I'm gonna create a new heaven, I'm gonna create a new earth, and I'm gonna have some new people. But beloved, be not ignorant of this one thing, that one day is with the Lord as 1,000 years, 1,000 years as one day. The Lord is not slack concerning his promise, as some men count slackness, but is long suffering to usward, not willing that any should perish, but that all should come to repentance. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat, and the earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up. Seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of person are you to be in all holy conversation and godliness, looking for and hastening to the coming day of God, wherein the heavens being on fire shall be dissolved, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat? Nevertheless, we, according to his promise, look for a new heaven and a new earth, wherein dwelleth righteousness. Wherefore, beloved, seeing that we look for such things, be diligent that you may be found of him in peace, without spot and blameless, and account that the long suffering of our Lord is salvation, even as our beloved brother Paul, also according to the wisdom given unto him, has written unto you, as also in all his epistles, speaking of them of these things, in which are some things hard to be understood, which they that are unlearned, unstable, wrestle as they do the other scriptures, unto their own destruction. Ye therefore, beloved, seeing you know these things, beware lest you also, being led away with the error of wicked, fall from your own steadfastness, but grow in grace and the wisdom and knowledge of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. To him be the glory both now and forever and ever. Amen, babe. It's a wrap. My birthday, Friday, my birthday week. I wasn't supposed to teach this whole. I'm supposed to just surface, just teach. We're gonna go back in that 13th chapter. We're going back in that 13th chapter and show you how you're gonna come in power. Go in that 13th chapter and show you how you're gonna reign. Go in that 13th chapter and show you how you're gonna use the second beast. How he's gonna use the second beast to control the people, because he can't do it. He can't do it. But the first beast is going to give power to the second beast, and this is what's going to look at the world today. It has to get more and more and more and more chaotic before he could get in place. This is why we got to know the first seal, the white horse, the second seal, the red horse, the third seal, the black horse, the fourth seal, the pale horse. Because when you understand them first 4 seals, then you get a better understanding of all the stuff that's getting ready to happen in the world as we see it coming. Because it's coming, people. It's coming. It's coming. I can show you it is. You show me it's not. According to that Bible. And no man was that smart. No man had that much sense that he could have wrote something thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago. If he was that smart, well, why he didn't write in there when he was coming back? He don't know. He don't know. No man know the day, the time, or the hour. When he's coming, we just know how he's coming, and he's coming like a thief in the night. Setting stuff on fire, wrecking this place. So now, the thing is, man, we got to be on top of game of what's getting ready to happen, y'all. But yet, in the church, oh, we just got to pray. We just got to pray. No, we ain't just got to pray. We got to do more than pray. We got to be ready. We got to get ready. We got to sharpen iron. We got to help one another. We got to teach one another. We got to put a lot of people on top of game. All that jibby jabbing, miss me with all that. No indeed, not me. So now, because God say, bro, you didn't teach me that. She didn't teach it to me. God taught it to me. So since God gave it to me, he gave it to me to give this people. So I give it to the people. Now what they do with it, that's on them. All I got to do is give it to them. So every day, I'm giving you all what God say here. But the thing is, if I'm lying, show me. That's all I said. I've been saying that since March. If I'm lying, show it to me. Bring your Bible. I don't let no jibby jabbing. Bring your Bible. Bring your Bible, babe. That's all I say. God might love y'all, man. Y'all 100. We're going to be all right. God got us. We're going to be all right. God raising up some soldiers. God raising up some soldiers to stand and tell the truth. And this is why every day God's got you to get your heart right. You got to get your heart right. Because when they start to stand up and come clean, you're going to have to forgive them. You're going to have to forgive them. Don't belittle them. Don't talk about them. Don't down them. Let them know it's all right, man. For we all have sinned and fallen short of the glory. The thing is, I respect you more for being a man. Say, bro, I'm sorry. If I wronged you in any kind of way, I'm sorry. I mean, I didn't know. I didn't know. It's just that simple. I didn't know. Look at all the people that ran out of the church with a 10% and there's no such thing. And come in Sundays, you didn't go to church because you felt you had to pay something because you didn't have 10%. Only to find out it's no such thing. To be humiliated and you gotta look at your, I gotta see your taxes. Only to find out it's no such thing. Now, once again, I never ever said, don't pay tithes, don't pay offerings. Never said that. I'm saying no such thing as 10%. If I don't have but a nickel, and God knows I don't have but a nickel, God gave you what I had, babe. Had a nickel. God wants your all, whatever it is. God wants your all. But because they didn't know no better, they locked you in with 10%. They got mad with the 10%. They knew the 10% wasn't true. That's why after they asked for the tithes and offered the 10%, they begged for some more money. Come on, man. When all you have to do is just be straight up with me from the jump. From the jump. When are we going to let God be God? Well, no. Man found a system that he can manipulate, and he had been manipulating ever since ever since he seen he could do it. This is why in the beginning, God said, let it be light. And man still to this day trying to figure out that light. Why? Because God didn't do it in man's system. For a day, he hung the sun, the sun, the moon, and the stars on the fourth day. That very first existence, let it be light. And I'm going to stand there and say, boy, God said, let it be light. And look all the light we have in the world. Man, it don't have nothing to do with that. That's because man's so stuck in his systematic way. That's because man's so stuck in his systematic way. And since the beginning of time, God has his own system. That's why I can stand here and run it. And they still try to figure out how he doing that? How is he doing that? How could he get all of that type of knowledge, all of that wisdom, and he ain't been to nobody's seminary? He ain't been to nobody's Bible college? Come on, man, nowhere in the world. He said stuff I don't know, and I'm teaching in Bible college. I'm teaching in seminary, and I don't know that. That's God, man. I go to show you that's God. Let's do it in the back. I'm in my backyard, just running. My weight, workout, podium, and just running. Just running. And guess what? I stand flat-footed, and there, a Negro and his mammy to run up on me with that Bible. I'll walk him. I'll walk her. Why? Because I already know. God already showed me what's happening with him. All that cold game. Miss me with all that. One thing to tell y'all, ladies, one thing about a man, boy, look, if I knew, boy, I wish I knew that Bible, I'd shut that little joker up. I wish I knew it, I would shut that joker up. How you gonna shut God up? Then this is what we in the Church of Philadelphia. The Church of Philadelphia say, can't no man close, although that he's open. And can't no man open, although that he's closed. Still let's talk about the gospel. Can't close the door in the gospel. Can't close the door in the gospel. I told you, show me one verse. I press the button and never come on here again. One verse. You gotta show me two verses. One, two. Well, God, that's why God bless me to know the Bible backwards. I go from Revelation to Genesis. Revelation to Genesis. When I get to Genesis, dab Genesis out and run back to Revelation. Go to Revelation, go back to Genesis. Dab Genesis out, go back to Revelation. I'm enjoying it. I love this here. I'm going to go help my auntie. I'm doing some stuff with my auntie. I'm going to help my auntie. But y'all have a blessed day. Y'all be wonderful. Y'all be careful. Y'all be safe. Oh, boy. I just love y'all, man. I love y'all. Every day I'm going to press that button 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock. Boom. 9 o'clock. Boom. Now, I don't know. When the winter coming, it be 20 degrees and all that, I'm still press the button. I'm going to just put on some more clothes and just press the button. Don't nothing stop this 9 o'clock. Don't nothing stop this. My loyalty is to God. My alliance is with God. And whatever God tell me to do, I'm going to do it. And whatever God tell me to say, I'm going to say it. And I don't fear nobody but God. I don't fear nothing to nobody but God. But people, this stuff going to get worse and worse. Let nobody tell you it's going to get better, because it's not. It's not going to get better till he come back. He has to judge the evilness in man. He has to judge the evilness in the world. That's what he said all the way in the beginning. It won't get better until he do that. It's going to get worse, people. Get to know God. Get to know God for yourself. Read that Bible. I'm telling you, read that book. I thank God for you all, because, you know, the more I teach, the more God allow me to give it, the more questions come behind it, the more questions. Because not too many people have a lot of questions, because a lot of people ain't never heard of this stuff. Not too many people have questions because nobody don't know the book. So now, the more the teachers go forth, now people say, okay, well, what about this? And then now, people, let me tell you, when I ask you a question, don't be afraid, no such thing. I ask you the question because I want to see if we really growing, because we're going to grow together. That 13th chapter of Revelation. You know how everybody say 13 is a bad luck number? 13 is a bad luck number? Okay. Well, always remember, the 13th chapter of Revelation is where you're going to find that first beast, the second beast. That first beast, the second beast. The 13th chapter of Revelation is where you're going to find the mark of the beast. The mark of the beast. The mark of the beast. The 13th chapter of Revelation is where you're going to find 666 is a man. 666 is a man. So now when you get in the 13th chapter of Revelation, you get a better understanding of the surface of what's going on in that chapter. Now, when we study, we're going to study the lion, the bear, the leopard, and the beast. We're going to study how he comes in power. We're going to study all that he's going to use. We're going to study where he's going to get the 7 heads, the 10 crowns, the 10 horns. We're going to study out. We're going to run all that. We're going to run all that. We're going to run all that. We're going to run all the different beasts. We're going to get an understanding of all these different beasts, what these beasts mean, what these beasts, because he had to use something. He had to use the beast is what it was, because he couldn't really describe heaven. So his best way of describing heaven was using earthly things. So now you got one beast is like an eagle, one beast is like a ox, one beast is like a man, because that's what he understood, earthly speaking. So now you take these beasts that are on the 4 corners all around the throne of God, but yet he described them as things in which he's seen earthly. Oh, we're going to work this Bible. We're going to break this Bible. We're going to break this Bible. That's why, never let nobody tell you the book of Revelation is scary. Nothing is scary. If you're not living right, or you're ungodly, that's a different story. I ain't talking to them anyway. But anyway, the book of Revelation is not scary. And we're going to walk this whole book. We're not going to leave out a verse. We're going to walk the whole book. Why? Because it all ties in together. It all ties in together. It all ties in together. 7 churches, got them. 7 seals, got them. 7 trumpet judgments, got them. 7 bowl judgments, got them. Battle of Armageddon, got it. The fall of Babylon, got it. First resurrection, got it. Second resurrection, got it. The New Jerusalem, got it. The 12 gates, got it. The 12 foundations, got it. Oh, the Lamb of the God, the Feast of the God, got it. The Feast of the Lamb, the marriage, boom, got it. We ain't gonna miss nothing. We not gonna miss nothing. We gonna walk the whole Bible. That whole book, we're going to walk it. And you go, oh, man, yeah, that's right there. We're going to deal with the wedding. We're going to go back and we're going to talk about the wedding that's going to take place. How beautiful the bride is, which is the church. And now the wedding is about to take place. After the wedding, we're going to get into the battle. After we get into the battle, we're going to get into the Feast of the Gods. After the Feast of the Gods, then we're going to deal with the battle of Armageddon. We're going to deal with the fall of Babylon. Deal with the fall of Babylon. We're going to deal with the 7 heads, the 10 horns, the 10 crowns. After we deal with the 7 heads, the 10 horns, the 10 crowns, oh, we're just going to walk Bible. We're just going all up and down, just walk Bible. Just Bible. That's why I say, don't get in your feelings. Get in your Bible. Get in your Bible. Bring your Bible, baby. We get off the thing. Y'all be happy clowning. Gotta go help my auntie out, wrap her up today. My auntie said, miss her with that foolishness. My auntie said, miss her with that foolishness. Don't try to play her. Make my way to Verizon. This Apple product giving me a problem. I don't know what's wrong with this phone. They do what they want, I don't know. That's Verizon job, they gonna figure it out. But y'all be safe. Stay COVID-19 free. Stay duck free. Don't be no duck. Don't be no duck for nobody. Don't be no duck for nobody. Continue to show love to people. If there's any unforgiveness in your heart, man, get that out your heart. Forgive these people, man. Somebody wrong, you forgive them. God might love y'all, man. God, let me give y'all a hug, man. The other people missed out on the hug. Give y'all a hug. Give y'all a hug, baby. We good. I don't know. I think I got everything. Oh well. See y'all tomorrow, baby.